Welcome to Winning at Work, the podcast for foodies, founders, and food and beverage professionals. You know, if you wanted to discover a new brand, a new food or beverage to try, there are literally thousands of companies out there. It is very difficult to do that. That's why we curate the different, the better, and the special brands here each and every week, so you don't have to do the heavy lifting. If you're a founder and you're looking to connect with other like-minded executives, we make that very easy. And if you just work in the food and beverage industry and you're looking for fresh inspiration, we have that here in spades.
This episode is sponsored by Temple. Congratulations, you're selling in retail. But the competition is fierce and your brand is surrounded by similar products. How will consumers find you? Let Temple show you an innovative retail sales solution. Click on the Attract Consumers link below. Need to attract great employees? Click on the Hire Now below and we'll show you how to use your culture to help you stand out. Stay tuned for this week's episode.
Welcome to Winning at Work, everybody. It's Tony. I got to tell you, the pressure is on me to make this an incredible podcast because I have, it has been 2 years in the making. I have Chef Jason McKinney, CEO of Truffle Shuffle. If you don't know what Truffle Shuffle is, we'll probably get into the founder story here, but he did start back in 2018. Obviously, so many companies started back then, and they had to do this huge pivot, come up with something different. I'll let him go into that. But what this is the most interactive, entertaining, live streaming cooking class with a live chef, or you can do it on demand. The one I did was live with a chef. It's incredible. The way they market it is like unleash the master chef within you. And let me tell you, right? I mean, you can go in, you can choose like, hey, I want to work with this fresh pasta carbonara with black truffle. Maybe you see this American Wagyu steak. That looks really good. So on. Now, Truffle Shuffle has been seen on or featured in the San Francisco Chronicle, Forbes, Oprah Magazine, The Kelly Clarkson Show, Eater, and Shark Tank. Jason, I forgot you were on Shark Tank. That's been that long. I think that's what probably stood out to me. Well, I think I might have seen your episode or saw something on that. Chef Jason, welcome into the program, my man.
Tony, thank you so much for having me. I am pumped to be here and really excited to dig into this and love what you guys are doing.
I'm going to say, look, the pressure is on me because I've already seen live action how badass these cooking classes are, right? The meal kit arrived and we had this login. We log in. They've got this great music playing. The chef comes on, you open up with this, you're going to make a nice cocktail, nice mixer. Everyone's kind of doing that, having fun doing this. You know, all their cameras are on. A live DJ shows up. He's spinning music. Then we get into the cooking class and it goes on from there. And it's just such an entertaining, such a fun business. So how in the heck did you think of this in the first place?
So, Tony, what I like to say is that we are not smart enough to think of this business model. And truly, in a lot of ways, we were just trying to get through and get to the next month. And, you know, COVID hit and we had 20 pounds of fresh truffles on hand, nowhere in the world to sell them. And we got a call from the Battery in San Francisco and they said, would you guys want to do a live stream cooking class? And I was like, how would that work? And they're like, people go shopping, then they log on and you teach them how to cook something. And I told them no. I was like, sounds not good. Sounds bad. We don't think that will work. And then I had all these truffles and I was like, well, could we deliver an ingredient kit that came with everything needed to cook along with the chef? And they were like, yeah, we could do that. And so we really were just trying to sell the truffles and make payroll. But in actuality, what happened is we kind of uncovered this secret, which is if you give people the right ingredients and the right instruction, they become master chefs in their own home.
And you've done it.
We've done it. We've cooked with, maybe 250,000 people today. And we're launching a cookbook this year. And one of our goals is to become a chef and group of chefs that teach more people than any other chef possible how to cook and how to become comfortable in the kitchen.
See, I thought that was one of the beautiful kind of side benefits of being in that class for myself, because I don't remember the technique now that they were teaching, but depending on the meal you're picking, right, the chef needs to show you, maybe it's a knife skill, maybe it's a preparation technique, maybe it's, how to use the heat on something. Anyway, so I think it's a great way to kind of learn something, right? Like some people don't want to be mechanics because they don't know how to do it. They don't have the tools. But if you've got it all right there and someone's showing you, it makes it so much easy. The other thing that really strikes me about your company, Chef Jason, is that everything is fun. Literally every email I get from you guys is fun. It's upbeat. Even your email signature is badass. So where do I even start? Okay. Why should we all love live streaming? Why should people care about live streaming in 2023?
A great example to look at here is back in the day, there was these two guys. One of them was Jack Clifford, and he was in the newspaper industry, right? And this little thing called television came out. And he said, you know what? I bet people would want to have a channel on television that was all about cooking, right? And all about food. And it would be this one network, and it would be about food, and we'll call it the Food Network. And it took them a long time to actually really become successful at the Food Network, right? And that's what we're trying to do at Truffle Shuffle. And we believe that there's a way where the Food Network, I love to watch the Food Network. It's amazing. They make food so entertaining to watch, right? Like I was watching Iron Chef the other day, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like the battle royale, like you're like it's in
captivating.
It. Who's gonna win? It's captivating, right? And where they kind of leave you is it's so entertaining. You watch them make something like braised lamb shank, and you're like, how could I do that? And that's where we step in. And we found the best way to do that is through a live stream experience where you can ask chefs questions directly. And a major part of it is it's a cohort-based learning, right? So you're on with 20, 25 other people. So you get all the knowledge of it, all the mistakes that happen in that one class. So 3 people mess up and they don't do, add enough flour to their pasta or whatever it is. You learn that. So then the way that you learn compounds over time because you get the benefit from the mistakes that happen in your cohort.
So tell me, Chef Jason, they've seen live streaming, they're hearing about this really cool concept, and I'm going to encourage everyone to go check it out. But the question is, okay, like how can a business start to incorporate live streaming into their own business? I mean, how can someone do that?
I see a lot of hesitation in it because it can be bad very fast, right? And so what we look at is high energy, low tech. And there's a couple of tools that we use. Zoom, we do it all on Zoom. We're integrating our website where the experience will be within Zoom. And all the tools we use plug directly into Zoom. So we use a tool called Manicam. Excellent live streaming tool that
Manicam?
Manicam, yeah.
MANI?
MANYCAM. And it makes it where you can have videos, transitions, overlays, all those things that you could do with something like OBS, but it's really, really simple. And so over time, I've started to see companies really kind of say, hey, if we just use this one tool, we can make our live streams that much better. And I think that's kind of the differentiator is to take 1 second and study the softwares that are out there to figure out how can you do yours and open it up and have sound effects? How can you have music? How can you just have you're doing your thing and you just got a little graphic on the bottom, And those little things I think is what make people be like, bring that interactivity to it. What we want at Truffle Shuffle is when you end the live stream, it feels like you walked out of a great party.
Yeah.
And you get this like man, we want there to be a change in your physical emotions when you're done with the class.
It was super memorable for us. I mean, my wife doesn't cook, and it was a great way for me to bring her into the kitchen, and it became super interactive. I love what you said, though, about high energy, low tech. Okay. So I am going to check out ManyCam because I think it's really fun to put in a sound effect here or there, or have a graphic that kind of comes up on the screen. We don't, I guess we do use, I guess I am, no, I don't use Zoom. I'm using Restream into LinkedIn. So I'll have to kind of check that one out. So you've already answered one of my questions. I was just kind of curious, just how expensive is it, or how much money do you really need in terms of, technology and backgrounds? Maybe it's not that much. Maybe these ManyCams are pretty affordable.
Yeah, basically we got, for our classes, we have 4 webcams. And I range from having the Sony A7s, the red cameras. I've tested everything out. What I found works best is having 4K Brios. And we have 4 of them. So you have the board shot, the chef shot, pot shot, and then the up top shot. And then we stream all those in the ManyCam. We have a little switcher where you can change the camera angles. And then we have a $60 mic that just sits on the table. So you can hear the chef, you can hear the pots, you can hear the knife, you can hear the guests. And then from there, we run it off of a MacBook. So, it's pretty straightforward. One of the things that we do that's a little more interesting is we actually have them all in shipping containers. So we have 4 shipping containers that are all stacked on top of each other. Or I guess 3 total. So 2 10 by 10 and 1 10 by 40. And so it's literally like Ready Player One. And then all the shipping containers have their own
like kitchen built in it?
It's just a little mini kitchen. It's a bunch of stuff we ordered off of Amazon and put together. And then we got a big booze block table. And people see it and they think it's this massive kitchen. And literally it's about 4 feet by 6 feet. And it has everything you need for the live stream. And then we give the chef a really big screen so they can see everyone at home.
When you said Ready Player One, I instantly thought of that giant city that he lived in with all those shipping containers, and that's it. So
that's what I have in my parking lot right now.
Okay, so you've got several items at play here because number one, you've got to find the chefs that want to be part of this program, right? And then you've got to do the whole meal kit side of it, and then you've got to go out and attract the guests who want to do this. So how do you do all that? How does that work?
A major benefit of what we're doing over here is that we put people at the dinner table together, right? And so that's the end product of what we're selling. And when that's the end product of a mom and a son that cook together every week and are at the dinner table together, it makes it very easy to work backwards from to be able to get things done. And so, one of our chefs happened to apply on Craigslist, and then she went on to win Gordon Ramsay's Next Level Chef. Had never been in front of a camera until she started with us at Truffle Shuffle, and is now arguably one of the most popular chefs on social media today. Another chef, his name's Jeremy. He's our pastry chef. He literally was a friend of a friend, and he started as my first marketing intern, and he kept making all these delicious pastries. And I was like,
got an idea here for you, buddy.
I was like, how do you know how to do this? And he had gone to culinary school. And I was like, all right, well, you're going to be a chef and teach people how to do this. And now, again, he's super popular. And another chef we met at a dinner party, Anna Voloshyna, and she's a Ukrainian chef. And she is teaching classes on Truffle Shuffle to help support Ukraine. And so then you have myself and Tyler that were just had our backs up against the wall and had to figure something out. And so, with the chefs, we really kind of look for good personality, patience. And then from there, a big part of it is, hey, what's going to be successful? What are people going to really love and learn how to cook? Launching those classes. And then we just connect the dots. The chef pushes the class live. We work everything in between, and we make sure people ideally finish with a beautiful meal at their home.
Yeah. Well, so are you using what kind of advertising are you using to help bring in guests to the live stream, or is it organic now?
It's been pretty much organic all along. We've grown about 1,400% organic. I built a newsletter up that I personally write myself. I have 120,000 people on it. And
wow. You're building a huge community.
A big community. A big part of the business that we do here is partnerships. So we work with all the wineries up in Napa. So we're their tasting room outside of their tasting room. So when they need to access their community outside of Napa, they come to Truffle Shuffle and we do a wine pairing with a chef. Bam.
Are they sharing any of their lists with you to help kind of promote it out? I mean, is that kind of the benefit for you as well?
Yeah, basically we get to cross-pollinate the list all along the way.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the big challenge is kind of where do you build your list? Because everyone wants to kind of market to their ideal customer profile. They know what it is, but how do they find them? And how do they get those email addresses?
Yeah. And, I learned all the Facebook, Google, I learned all that stuff. And then the iOS 14 update happened and it tanked it. And I kind of made a decision. Do I relearn this or do we just invest in our community? And our growth slowed down, but we just invested in the community and it's been more stable since then.
Yeah. Well, it's more sustainable now the way you're doing it because you're not having to pay for it and kind of play around with the algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about just this instant engagement that you have with your community. I want people to understand just there's such a connectivity that happens. Your community is arguably some of the most engaged.
Well, what you see with Truffle Shuffle is it's like, I think that one of the best similarities is what you see with Peloton and the instructors and the people taking the classes. And over time, if you're a Peloton user and you work out every day and you have your one instructor, right? You're spending
hours
every week with them, right? And so we have people that are spending hours every month with our chefs and, in a very intimate setting. They're doing the classes, they're making the food, they're eating the food. And so over time, they get to really learn and trust them. And they get to kind of have that. And people have watched us build this business from nothing, like absolutely nothing. People would write into the customer service, hey, my package didn't arrive. We would answer the email and redeliver the package ourselves, and they'd be like, what in the world? And so for them to see that and see us grow, they've stepped up to the plate on every occasion. We're doing a crowdfunding round. Today Truffle Shuffle has never raised any institutional money, and we've raised about $4 million, all from the community.
Oh, that's great. And you're starting a round now.
Yeah, we've had kind of this rolling community round where people have invested through safes. We just officially went on to Start Engine and did one on there for anyone that is not an accredited investor. And, we had the fastest growing campaign, raised $400,000 in about 90 days.
Tell me, who is managing this meal kit operation? I mean, because that's a business in and of itself.
So, basically you got me and Tyler. And, but when we first started Truffle Shuffle, we took a personality test and I was the promoter and he was the general. And so Tyler was the expediting sous chef at the laundry. I was the senior chef de partie. He kind of took me under his wing. And so he manages the team and the operations there. And then honestly, we've gotten very efficient with it. And we have myself, we have Laren, who's our head of distribution, who started with us as a customer, showed up one day, now manages thousands upon thousands of shipments every week, millions of dollars with contract negotiation. We have Jesus, who is the son of the first two people that we hired to work in the kitchen. And so then it's him, his parents, and then a daughter and her mom. And we have a very, very efficient operations where we prep Monday, Tuesday. We prep Thursday and Friday, and then we ship Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
That's incredible. You're doing everything. I mean, that's staggering. I mean, that's a business in and of itself, is just doing meal kits.
It is, and what next month, we're launching our new site. And what we're really trying to put some time and focus on is kind of moving Truffle Shuffle away from being thought of as a meal kit business and really being thought of as an experience business. And
100%. Chef Jason, I could not agree with you more. When I have mentioned the word meal kit, and you can see how it's an easy trap to fall into, but
yeah, no, and it's not. I don't think it's a bad word. I just think that there's just so much in the world of food to offer.
Yeah. Well, really, when I do think about it, it truly is an experiential business model. it's entertaining, it's fun, there's learning involved, you're cooking, you've got this community, you've finished with a sense of accomplishment too. So there's so many things that are all packed in to like an hour and a half, 2 hours roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean,
Yep.
And the other thing I think that you've kind of captured, this kind of lightning in a bottle idea, is food is Instagrammable.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've got people taking screenshots of, hey, this is the class I'm in, here's the chef I'm working with, and this is what I made, and they tag you. And now it's like, man, that's cool. So I could see how this thing could kind of get viral with your friends. Like, that's really unique.
Yeah, and people like to get their friends on it, their grandparents on it, and that's something that's been really cool.
Oh, I see. So it's
you'll have
I'm here in North Carolina and my mom's out in California. So, hey, let's do this class together.
Yeah, you guys truffle shuffle once a week, and then your mom gets to see the grandkids.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's just little things like that I could, when I say like we're not smart enough to come up with this business model, like I couldn't have predicted that.
Right. It's just one of those happy coincidences. I was making this joke with someone on a Facebook group where it's for podcasters. And I was like, that cringy feeling when you go back and listen to your first year of podcasting, it just sounds awful.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of advances have you guys made now? Where do you see this going? How can you do live streaming plus? What's coming?
So the major advances that we've been able to do, one, we're hired a head of web design and development about 4 months ago. We spent all of last year and had a CTO and engineering team, and we had all these resources that we were applying to kind of build what we thought was the future, and we were building a platform. And over time, we really realized people want a strong brand that they can trust. And so we went back to our roots a little bit, and we went to Shopify, and we got one designer and developer and ChatGPT. And we've been doing weekly feedback sessions with our members and saying, hey, what do you guys want? And they tell us, we build it, we show it to them, and we say, do you like it? Does it make sense? Yes. And we put it into the beta. And so we're going live with that at the end of August. And so really the advancements that we've made over here is just understanding better what people are looking for and what they want to learn how to cook outside of the pandemic. And so we're kind of in this shift right now. And you see it with some of the new products we just launched on the site. But as opposed to join Truffle Shuffle for a carbonara class, it's learn how to make fresh pasta, a fresh pasta tour of Italy, learn how to do knife skills with Truffle Shuffle. So moving into these series and these course based and really, really going from kind of like you're saying, like that, okay, this is where I go get a meal kit for a dish, to the education of how to cook.
This is one of those businesses that I think you're right. You probably couldn't have come up with it because there's just so many little benefits and advantages of being in live stream, and you've kind of opened our eyes, I think, a little bit as to how to make a live stream that doesn't suck. You obviously have to be confident. You do have to have the right personality. You do need these multiple cameras. I think that does help. And I'm going to absolutely check out this ManyCam because I love the idea of having multiple shots, and you can just push a button, right? And it changes what everyone sees.
Yeah,
how
super
do you
easy.
integrate sound? Because I know y'all had a DJ on mine. How does that integrate?
Yeah, so super simple. We within ManyCam you can set up microphones, and so we have Spotify that runs in as a microphone. We have a sound effects bar that runs in as a microphone, and so then while you're going, you have the chef and you have the DJ. And part of what the DJ is doing is actually watching the class, hitting the laugh track, hitting the applause, hitting these little things just to have fun with it.
Oh, it just sounds so much fun. I really just feel like people need to think about how can they introduce this for their company to their audience. It just creates a whole new level of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can't tell people how to do it. They have to, adapt it to their business. But, if you're in the business of hamburgers, I mean, I think you could do a lot there, with cooking and grilling and things like that. I think it's probably a little harder for a service-based company. It's easier when you've got something that's kind of, tangible.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people do these webinars and they think the webinar is the answer. And when we first started doing the cooking classes, everyone's like, oh yeah, with that many people, you're going to have to do a webinar. And, with a webinar, you turn your participants. That's the other thing too. Like our participants are part of the show. Like with a webinar feature, you turn the participants into just a static list. So you're doing the same thing if you had 6 people or 6,000 people. So, and for companies that, maybe are service-based or whatnot, like if you're going to do an engagement session, like be ballsy and try to turn it into a meeting and have everyone there and then ask questions and let people speak and let people unmute. And we're so far into the pandemic now that I've had 1,000 people on a meeting and everyone had the ability to unmute themselves and you have no issues. People are respectful. They understand. They're terrified of being heard and yelling at their kids or whatever. And you have, when you first started and people didn't know they're unmuted, you had all these issues. You have no issues like that anymore. So as a service-based business, it's like do a thing and get 1,000, get all your customers on and say, hey guys, we're going to talk about what we're doing next month. We're so excited you're here. Do the presentation. At the end of the presentation, say, what do you guys think? And then go spotlight people and just hear from them directly. And that's how you can really quickly build that community on very, very low tech.
Now, see, that's interesting because you're able to spotlight a guest. Because I remember you would, they'd say, okay, Chef Tony, show us what you got. And then, you kind of turn your camera around and you show what you're doing. And there's all this kind of fun and hype that goes around what you're doing.
And that's a Zoom meeting functionality and that we're using in a large setting.
It's awesome.
That's like a Jumbotron.
It was. I remember that. Chef Jason, what do you want people to know about Truffle Shuffle as we kind of wrap up here?
I want people to know that if they want to unleash the chef within, that we are the best resource to help them do that.
And how do they find you online? What's the best way?
TruffleShuffleSF.com. And you can come on, check out some of our beginner series classes, and we will get you in the door.
That's TruffleShuffleSF.com.
Yep.
.com. Dumb question. What's the SF for?
When we first started the business, I thought it made us seem like a bigger business to put San Francisco. So we have a new site coming live that's shuffleshuffle.co.
Got it. Chef Jason, I'm thrilled we finally got this done after 2 years.
I am too.
Let's go Truffle Shuffle.
Let's Truffle Shuffle all the way.
Let's do it, man. Good talking to you. I think the pressure's on me if I were to invite you to a live stream, but I'm going to make the offer. Maybe we'll do a live stream follow-up. Pressure will be on me. I realize that, but I'm still going to throw it out there. Maybe in 4 or 6 weeks, we'll have a follow-up live stream.
I would love that.
And you know what? That'd be pretty cool because maybe you could take us inside one of your shipping containers.
Yeah. We can do a little behind the scenes.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd be cool. All right, Chef Jason, great talking to you. Get back to all that shuffling.
Thank you, Tony.